Jai Shri Shri Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari Shri Shri Radha Govinda Ji Ki Jai. Jai Shri Jagannatha Baladev Subhadra Sudarshan Chakra Ji Ki Jai. Jai Shri Giriraj Govardhana Ki Jai. Jai Shri Shri Nitai Gauranga Ki Jai. Jai Nrsimha Bhagavan Ki Jai. Jai Nitilila Pravishto Vishnupad Paramahansa Ashto Tarasata Sri Srila Rasi Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Nitilila Pravishto Vishnupad Paramahansa Ashto Tarasata Sri Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Nityalila Pravishto Vishnupada Paramahansa Asto Tarasata Sri Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayana Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Srila Bhakti Pragyan Kesava Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Srila Gaura Das Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Srila Sachidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai. Vaishnav Sarvabhaum Shri Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Rupanuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. Shri Gaudiya Vedanta Charya Baladev Vijayabhushan Prabhu Ki Jai. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur Ki Jai. Srila Narottam Shri Vashyamananda Prabhu Trai Ki Jai. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Sri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Sri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunath Shad Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Srila Sarup Damodar Roy Ramanandari Gaur Parshada Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Sigo Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivas Adi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Navadvip Dham Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopi Gopa Vardhan Vada Shivanatmaka Shri Braj Mandala Dham Ki Jai. Shri Shyama Kunda Radha Kunda Yamuna Ganga Tulsi Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Shri Giriraj Govardhan Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Sudarshan Chakra Ji Ki Jai. Jai Shri Jagannath Puri Kshetra Dhama Ki Jai. Bhakti Vigna Vinashana Shri Nrsimha Dev Ki Jai. Bhakta Pravrishi Prahlad Maharaj Ki Jai. Charadam Chara Sampradaya Chara Acharya Ki Jai. Akara Matraj Shri Chaitanya Mat Ki Jai. Arananya Shakamat Samuha Ki Jai. Shri Vishva Vaishnava Raj Sabha Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Tribhuvana Pavana Harinam Sankirtana Ki Jai. Tribhuvana Mangala Harinama Prabhu Ki Jai. Hare Krishna Maha Mantra Ki Jai. Sachinandana Gaura Hari Ki Jai. Shri Nityananda Mahajana Ki Jai. Shri Pancha Tattva Ki Jai. Samavita Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jutaha Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Prijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangam Longayate Girim Yat Kripa Tamaham Bande Shri Gurun Dinataranam Vancha Kalpatarubhascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namo Mahabhadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaura Chishe Namah He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jayatam Suruto Pangor Mamamanda Matergati Matsarvasva Padam Bhojo Radha Madana Mohano Divyad Vrindaranya Kalpar Dhrumadha Srimad Ratnagar Singhasanasto Srimad Radha Srila Govinda Devo Preshtadibhi Sevyamano Smarami Sriman Rasarasarambi Vam Shivata Tatakstitaha Karshana Venu Svanair Gopir Gopinata Shrilestunaha Vrindai Tulsi Devai Priyai Keshavasya Krishna Bhakti Prade Devi Satyavachai Namo Namaha Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Swarupakam Bhakta Avataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivas Adi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. I'm offering my Dandavat Pranams and my Shraddha Pushpanjali unto the lotus feet of my most worshipable, beloved Gurudev, Nitya Lila, Pravishta Om Vishnupad Paramahansa, Ashtotarasata Sri Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada. Then I'm offering my same Dandavat Pranams and Shraddha Pushpanjali unto the lotus feet of my most worshipable, beloved Siksha Gurudevs, Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Asto Tarasata Sri Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj, and Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Asto Tarasata Sri Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. And I'm offering my Dandavat Pranams to the lotus feet of all of my Sri Sri Rupa Nuga Guru Varga, and my Dandavat Pranams to the lotus feet of all the Vaishnavas and all the Vaishnavis. Yesterday, we had a little break from our discussion of the introduction of the Bhagavad Gita, which I'm realizing, actually, to read that and properly discuss Prabhupada's quite lengthy introduction, it would take quite a number of days, probably a whole week, which we can do, but the Gita Jayanti is coming. Doesn't mean that we can't continue with Bhagavad Gita. But yesterday we also were discussing the topic of the Vaishnava perspective of our acharyas on Lord Jesus Christ, and how Vaishnavism is there to a certain extent within Christianity. And we got to a certain point, but we didn't have that much time yesterday. And I wanted to continue a little bit with that, if that is acceptable by the devotees. And I remember, for the Facebook audience, I actually forgot to bring a stand and all of that, and because we were so constricted with time, I kind of didn't think about it, and then I realized later, oh, I didn't broadcast it on Facebook. So, shall we?
Sure.
Okay. There's more wonderful quotes from Srila Prabhupada. I only went to one website, but there's a whole bunch of websites which are collecting the quotations from Srila Prabhupada. But this is an actual chapter out of the book, Search for Sri Krishna Reality, the Beautiful, of Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj. And these are all taken from his private darshans, yes. And there are some Christians, doesn't say anything about them, but there are some Christian students who are asking him questions, and then he's answering. So the next section, well, I'll just read the last paragraph of the previous section that we ended with last night. Srila Sridhar Maharaj is saying, oh, yeah, I'll have to go to the previous page first. Because the Christians asked Srila Sridhar Maharaj about, well, first they asked about whether or not there is, in Christianity, there is also the conception of God being one's consort. Yes. Madhurya rasa. So, and then they were talking about how Christians are afraid to go beyond Jesus, because Jesus has warned us about cheaters. So then Srila Sridhar Maharaj answers that I am not speaking about the Christians. I am speaking about Jesus, who has given the ideals of Christianity. I am speaking about the principles of Jesus. He has given some understanding by installments, but not full knowledge. We agree about the strong foundation of theism. Jesus was crucified because he said, everything belongs to my Father. Render unto Caesar that which is Caesar's, render unto God that which is his. So the foundation is very good. It is laudable. But that is only the first installment of the theistic conception. Mm-hmm. Who is my Lord? Now he's asking these questions. Who is my Lord? What is his name? Who am I? What is my inner self? And what is my connection with him? How can I live continuously in his memory and service? The conception that we are meant for him, designed and destined for him, that conception, we are meant for him, that is laudable, but it must be clarified. We must attain the highest position. All these things are absent in Christianity. That's a very chief point. How much lacking it is when you come in contact with the highest conceptions of the Vedic knowledge in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and others. Then you understand how very, very basic and only beginning level Christianity is, even in terms of the quantity of information that is there. It's practically absent. Who is my Lord? What is his nature? What is my connection with him? And how can I live continuously in his memory and his service? So, all these things are absent in Christianity. Only sacrifice for the Lord is given. And that is all right. It is the basic necessity of the soul. Sacrifice for the Lord. But after that, what is to be achieved? They are silent. So now the next section is called Beyond Jesus. Now a Christian says, they are afraid to go beyond Jesus. And Srila Sridhar says, yes, but there is so much grace, so much love in divinity, that God can sit on our lap and embrace us. A much more intimate connection is unfolded in Vaishnavism. But if we are afraid to cross the fundamental advice of Jesus, then we become sahajiyas, imitationists. We must risk everything for our Lord, and we must make our position firm in His service. We must die to live. And what is living? We have to analyze what real life is. And if, without dying, we want to drag God in our fleshy play, then we become sahajiyas, imitationists. We must cross the threshold given by Jesus. We must cross that threshold. He has declared, die to live. The Lord's company is so valuable to us that we must risk everything for Him. This material achievement is nothing. It is all poison. We must have no attraction for it. We must be ready to leave everything, all our material prospects and aspirations, including our body, for Him. God is great, but what is His greatness? What is my position? How can I engage myself in His service 24 hours a day? Here, Jesus is silent. We receive no specific program from the Christians at this stage. So Vaishnavism comes to our heart's relief to satisfy our inner necessity, whatever it may be. Our inner thirst will be quenched there. You may be conscious or unconscious of the many demands within you, but they will reach full satisfaction in its most beautiful form there alone. That brings to mind the quote from Sri Guru Charana Padmaswami, where it says, Sri Guru Charane Rati, E se uttamagati, ye prasade puri sarva asha. So, Sri Guru Charane Rati, attachment, rati, to his lotus feet, E se uttamagati. That very attachment will bring us to the uttamagati, the ultimate goal, the ultimate attainment. And then it says, Jai prasade pure sarva asha, where through his mercy, Jai prasade pure sarva asha, all, pure means complete, full, pure sarva asha, all of our asha, all of our hopes, desires, aspirations, they will be complete, they will be fulfilled. Yeah.
So even though it will be delayed, a Christian who accepts Jesus as Guru could say, okay, well, attachment to his lotus feet will bring me the highest perfection. And although they might not see it in this life, they could in more association.
Oh, the mic, yeah. Wait 1 second. Because then they can hear also on the Facebook. You need chair. Chair?
No, it's okay.
Okay.
Maharaj, can I switch this one? Because this one cord is shorter.
Yeah, sure. Test this off. Oh, just the... You're going to detach it?
No, the whole cable. Yeah.
The whole cable as well?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Thanks, Maharaj.
turned on. Oh,
Turn it over.
I did, but it's not coming on. Oh, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Little louder. A little louder than this. Hari, Hari Bol. Hari, Hari, Hari. Gauranga, Gauranga, Gauranga. Okay, that's good. Hari Bol. Yeah. So, Shabde Guru, say what you're going to say.
Well, so you said Sri Guru Charanirati, Isi Tamagati. So attachment to his lotus feet will bring the highest perfection. So then the Christian understanding the translation of that song we daily sing would say, okay, my Guru is Jesus, so attachment to his lotus feet will bring me the highest perfection. So all my hope resides there at his mercy. So they could give that excuse. Now I understand the difference is that we have a living Guru who has made that pact with us that he will personally do so and has given us personal instructions. That's a big difference than having a departed Guru who you have to wait till another lifetime.
So what are you suggesting that the...
They're
you didn't mention about another lifetime.
No, but they're following. They'll say, okay, we're following. We're following. We're doing this. We just want to attach ourselves to the feet of Jesus, and that will bring us the highest perfection. And
actually, we're not arguing that in this case, because that's delving into the topic of Guru Tattva. And Guru Tattva is infinitely broad. We don't deny them their the accommodation of their faith and their attachment to Jesus Christ. That's never denied. You probably remember when Srila Prabhupada was noticing that so many Christian churches were empty, and he's saying, oh, well then we will buy these Christian churches, as they were starting to do, and we will install a deity of Jesus and also a deity of Mahaprabhu. Like that. So we can accommodate Guru Tattva, because if someone is truly surrendering to a personality who is qualified to represent the principle of Guru Tattva, then they will advance. They will advance spiritually. And by availing themselves of the opportunity to hear from various very exalted and pure realized souls, their attachment will also gradually develop. It's somewhat similar. Actually, here's a very good quote. Srila Maharaj, he was asked that if a person has more than one guru, so he has a Diksha guru, and then he may have a number of Siksha gurus, right? So how is it determined for that devotee which guru plays the major role in his life? Which guru holds the highest position, all right? And then Srila Maharaj mentioned in his answer that it is the guru from whom one genuinely receives the most. Then he will be your main guru. It may be your Diksha guru, it may be your Siksha guru. But that is recognized by the disciple himself, from whom he has received the most, you see. So, but it doesn't mean that attachment to one's, suppose it's your Siksha guru, from whom you feel that you're receiving so much. Or there may even be equal. I feel that I've received equally from both, Or I feel that I've received the most from my first guru, my Diksha guru, who is also my Siksha guru, and like that, So it may be any of these ways. So the point that's being made here is about how everything will be fulfilled. I'm trying to find this place. It says, Yes. We must be ready to leave everything, all our material prospects and aspirations, including our body, for Him. God is great, but what is His greatness? What is my position? How can I engage myself in His service 24 hours a day? Here, Jesus is silent. So we receive no specific program from the Christians at this stage. So Vaishnavism comes to our heart's relief, to satisfy our inner necessity, whatever it may be. Our inner thirst will be quenched there. You may be conscious or unconscious of the many demands within you, but they will reach full satisfaction in its most beautiful form, there alone. It is not only that from far off we shall show God some reverential salute, but we can have Him in a very intimate way. The ideal of an intimate, loving connection with God has been given by Vaishnavism, especially by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by Srimad Bhagavatam, and in Vrindavan, the land of Krishna. The feeling of possessing anything here in the material world, it cannot be real. That feeling that I possess this, I possess that, and this, it cannot be real. It is a perverted reflection. But that feeling must be present also in the original world. Otherwise, where is its origin? What is its origin? If we feel here that, oh, this is mine, this is my house, my family, my, then how, if this is the reflection, Jai Shri Shri Guru Gauranga, Jai Shri Shri Radha Govinda Ki Jai. If this is the reflection, then it must be there in the reality. So he's saying, the feeling of possessing anything here in the material world cannot be real. It is a perverted reflection. But that feeling, it must be present in the original world. Otherwise, what is its origin? Why it's here, if it's not there? From where do the different feelings of necessity within us come? All these different feelings of necessity, from where do they come? They must be present in the causal world. For everything is emanating from Krishna. So, the hankering of every atom of our body, our mind, and our soul will receive its greatest fulfillment there. This understanding is given by Vaishnavism, by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by Srimad Bhagavatam, and by Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. Now is very appropriate because it's Gita Jayanti coming. This next section is titled Bhagavad Gita, its history and teachings. Because now he said, it's given by Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. What we want for our greatest fulfillment, it is given. So the Christian asks the question, I've heard of the Bhagavad Gita. What is the history of its origin? Then Srila Sridhar Maharaj says, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna tells Arjuna, quote, what I am saying to you now is not a new thing. I have already told this to Surya, the sun god, and he delivered it to Manu, the father of man. In this way, this knowledge descended in disciplic succession, and by the influence of time it was finished. Again, I am repeating that ancient knowledge to you. This refers to karma yoga. Quote, don't care about the result, good or bad. Go on with your duty. Then you can have general peace of mind. So Srila Sridhar Maharaj is telling. This, what was spoken, that ancient knowledge. And he's saying this refers to karma yoga. Now the Christian says, what is the message of the Bhagavad Gita? Srila Sridhar Maharaj answers, there are different stages of education imparted in Bhagavad Gita. Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga. So many different layers of theism. But pure devotional theism begins where Krishna says, Sarva Dharman Parityajya. Give up your affinity to all other activities, whether religious or non-religious, and wholly surrender to me. Don't try to push your demands on me, but ask me what will be most beneficial for you. And what shall I do on your behalf? Fully surrender to me, and I will give myself to you. All these other methods, still the quotation, all these other methods and their prospects are more or less effective and valuable, but don't aspire after anything but me. That will be your highest prospect. To want me, to have me, to live in me, to do what I say, to enter into my own personal family in my private life. That will be your highest attainment. Don't aspire for anything else from me. The comparative study of all religious aspirations will show that the highest inner necessity may be satisfied by entrance into my personal private dealings. There's nothing of that in Christianity. I know. I was educated in that. Now the Christian asks, Christians think that if we are to be sincere, we should follow the Bible. We take very literally the word of Christ. Srila Sridhar Maharaj, yes, according to one's capacity, he may be enlisted in a particular class. Some will go to Christianity, and then after finishing that, if their hankering is still unsatisfied, they will seek somewhere else thinking, what is God? I want to know more perfectly. That was me as a teenage boy.
Can I ask a question, Maharaj? Does it say in the Bhagavad Gita that, what you were just saying, or is it Srila Sridhar Maharaj saying?
Give her the mic. They might be able to hear her voice anyway, but still.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Is it saying in the Bhagavad Gita that we can enter into Krishna's private life, or is that Srila Sridhar Maharaj saying that?
No, he's telling what you just heard is what Srila Sridhar Maharaj is telling that Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita.
So is it in the Bhagavad Gita then?
Oh yes,
Okay.
yes it is. It is. Because he's discussing one of the final verses of the Bhagavad Gita. Let me explain this to you. And that verse is, abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender to me only, right? So Srila Sridhar Maharaj is telling that Krishna is inviting everyone by that principle of surrender to him, that gradually they will enter into more and more intimate relationships with him, finally culminating in direct association with him in his world, in his family, in his personal environment where he lives. That's what it means, in my personal dealings, you see. So the hint for that, the promise for that fulfillment of our whole life's aspirations is given by Krishna's statements in the Bhagavad Gita. And then later on in the Srimad Bhagavatam, then they are very clearly spelled out. Everything is given there in Srimad Bhagavatam. So he's discussing Bhagavad Gita with these Christian persons. And the thing is, now here, here comes a usual kind of, how do you say, like a doubt or some limitation for the Christians. So he says, the Christian is telling, that Christians think that if we are truly to be sincere, then we should follow the Bible. And you'll always hear this. You have to follow the Bible. The Bible is the Word of God. The Bible is everything. Don't deviate from the Bible. Don't go elsewhere like that. And then the Christian says, so we take very literally the Word of Christ. So then Srila Maharaj, he's saying, yes, according to one's capacity. He may be enlisted in a particular class, even here in this world. Is everybody on the same level? No, there's so many classes, so many gradations. So he says according to one's capacity. He may be enlisted in a particular class, and some will go to Christianity, and then after finishing that, if their hankering is still unsatisfied, they will seek somewhere else. And they'll be thinking, oh, what is God? Well, that was my question. Even after 9 years of biblical, what is God? Where is he? How can I know him? Is he really there? I believe, but is he really there? How can I meet him? What does he look like? All of these questions were in me. And that's the proof to me and to anybody else that hears my story, and not just my story, but millions of people's stories. Because they're now they're only in the beginning class, but now they need more. Now they need to advance. So he's saying some will go to Christianity, and then after finishing that, if their hankering is still unsatisfied, they will seek somewhere else. And they'll be thinking, what is God? I want to know more perfectly. So in this regard, I can give one example. There was a Professor Nixon in England. He went to fight against Germany in the First World War on the French side. As he was flying over the German lines, his airplane was hit, and it began to fall. He saw that the plane would fall on the German lines. So when I met him here in India, he told me, at that time I prayed, if there is any God, let him save me. And I promise that if I do not die in this plane crash, I will go to search after him. I will devote my whole life in search of him. So the plane crashed, and when Professor Nixon regained consciousness, he found that he was behind the French lines in a hospital in France. At that time, he thought to himself, there is God, exclamation mark. He has heard my last prayer. When his wounds were healed, he went straight to England to see some churchmen. He told them, I want to search after God and engage myself 24 hours a day in the cause of his service. I want to see him face to face. So now the next section is titled, Bishops, go to India. He saw many clergymen and even some bishops. And they ultimately advised him, if you want to see God face to face, then go to India. We cannot recommend such a process to you, but we have heard that in India there are yogis who internally connect with the Lord in the heart. You may try your fortune there. You ever heard this story before? Yeah. So he came here to India, where he met the Vice Chancellor of Lucknow University. And then in talking with him, Professor Nixon met the Vice Chancellor's wife, who was a Gaudiya Vaishnava, a devotee of Mahaprabhu. He was so much charmed by her advice that he accepted her as his guru. Finally, he took sannyas, the renounced order of life, and his name became Swami Krishna Prema. He established a temple here in India, and he preached about Bhagavad Dharma and Mahaprabhu. He made a comparative study of all religions, beginning from Christianity gradually he came to Vaishnavism, attracted by Mahaprabhu's gift. One German scholar also said, quote, in all the religious conceptions of the world, the conception of 24-hour engagement with God, Ashtakaliya Lila, has never been given. I have studied all religious theologies, but none could even conceive of 24-hour service to the Supreme Lord. It is only given in Srimad Bhagavatam. So, Rupa Goswami has given the scientific representation of Krishna. What is that? Akil Rasamrita Murti. He is the reservoir of all possible pleasures. That's the meaning of the word Akil Rasamrita Murti. He is the reservoir of all possible pleasures, all possible tendencies for satisfaction that we may feel, and even those that we may not feel, are present in Krishna. And they have their ideal, purest satisfaction with him alone. He is all accommodating and all comprehensive. Whatever satisfaction our inner heart demands can be fulfilled only by him. So now the Christian asks, some Christians are so much afraid to go beyond the Bible that they will not make a study of other theistic beliefs. Then Srila Sridhar Maharaj answers, according to one's capacity, he will purchase in the market. He quotes a verse from the Gita here, Sve sve adhikare ja nishta sa guna parikirtita. So in the market, there may be valuable things, but the buyer must have some capacity to purchase them. The rishis, the tradesmen of knowledge, have also gone so far as to say, this is the highest, go no further. Similarly, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, in the 3rd chapter, 35, Swadharme nidanam shreya paradharmo bhayavaha. Here Krishna says, don't go ahead, you'll be doomed. Take your stand here, go no further. You know, that's in the context of karma yoga. It is better to do one's duty and so forth, right? So why is such a great warning given to us? Generally, our teachers advise us, pay full attention here. Only then will you understand everything completely, and your march to the end point will be sincere and satisfactory. Otherwise, sahajiyism, imitationism, will enter your heart. Do you think that in one leap you can capture the summit of a hill? Impossible. You must march, but your march must be sincere. You must make real progress, not imitative progress. So this warning is given at every stage of life. Quote, this is the highest for you. Give your whole attention to this. Don't be absent-minded and haphazard in your study. Engage yourself fully in this lesson, and the next higher stage will come to you automatically. So Srila Sridhar Maharaj is pointing out, because that Christian was saying that they don't want to study. The Christians, they're stuck on the Bible. Yeah? And they don't want to study other religious texts. So then he says, yes, according to one's capacity, right? And generally, it is good to focus where you are, and then gradually can make progress, right? So as a matter of policy, we are told that our present stage of instruction is the highest. This is a matter of policy. Jai Shri Shri Radha Govinda Jiva Ki Jai. Yes. As a matter of policy, we are told that our present stage of instruction is the highest. Prabhupada kind of used that also for us. When a professor comes to teach a child, he will accept the mentality of the child. He will say, only go so far, no further. This is the final stage. Give your whole attention to understanding this point. And when that is finished, then go further. So in this way, by gradual installments, knowledge is revealed. Now the Christian says, so there are different stages for different persons? Srila Sridhar Maharaj, Bhaktivinoda Thakur has given his decision in his Tattva Sutra that although when Bhagavad Gita was spoken to Arjuna, he engaged himself in fighting, had it been Uddhava in place of Arjuna, after hearing the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita where Krishna says, give up everything and surrender to me, Uddhava would have accepted this and gone away from the warfield. Upon hearing the same advice, Arjuna acted in one way, but Uddhava would have acted in another. After hearing the first installment of Krishna's instructions, Arjuna tells Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, 3rd chapter, verses 1 and 2. This is the first beginning of the Karma Yoga chapter. So after hearing this first installment of Krishna's instructions, then Arjuna tells Krishna, Jayasi chet karmanaste mata buddhir janardana tatkim karmani gore mam niyo jayasi keshava vyamishreneva vakyena buddhim mohayasiva me tadekam vada nishchitya yena shreyoham apnuyam. So Arjuna is telling to Krishna at the beginning of the chapter, he's saying, you say, O Krishna, that jnana, knowledge, is better than karma, better than work. So why then do you want me to engage in this dreadful karma of fighting? So then Krishna said, you have your capacity in karma. That's your capacity in that field. Finish your career, and then you can aspire to come to the level of jnana, inquiry into knowledge. It is not a cheap thing to transcend all activity and attain naishkarmya, freedom from karma. First, finish the course of your karma. Then you will become free from karma. And gradually you will develop transcendental knowledge and devotion. So I say, engage yourself in this present fight. Fighting is not recommended for everyone, but for you and men of your section. Then the Christian says, in your opinion, what stage of God realization should people be advised to follow? Then Srila Sridhar Maharaj says, Krishna consciousness should be preached in a general way, and people will come according to their inner response. Some may even come to attack us. The communists will say, no religious preaching is allowed here. It is all theoretical. You neglect the concrete world and you take the abstract to be everything. So by hearing this, the people will suffer. So we won't allow it. This is what will happen. Opposition will come. That is one stage. And beginning from there, there are so many stages. If you preach to a crowd, those who find a response within their inner hearts, they'll come to you according to the degree of their realization. Their inner demand will bring them in contact with an agent of truth. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj went to the West and preached, and so many converted to Krishna consciousness. How was it possible? They were not Gaudiya Vaishnavas, but they felt some inner affinity. While wandering in this world, everyone is gathering some new experience, some new taste. And according to the degree of his awakenment, one will respond to a preacher in his own layer. He will find, oh, after so long, I see that there is the possibility of an outlet for the urge I found in my heart. There is a plane that can satisfy that aspiration of mine. I must connect with him and inquire of that land of my dreams. So in this way, they will come to seek the association of devotees. Birds of a feather flock together. So according to their inner taste, they will come together and they will go on with their duties in that plane, at that pace, until from there they can go further to a higher position. Sometimes in the same life, one may change his creed and go higher, and sometimes one may wait until his next birth. So then the Christian says, if the quality of preaching is too high, people may be discouraged. Srila Sridhar Maharaj, it may be too high for one and too near for another. It is not too high for all, for if it was, then how would conversion be possible? So many people are becoming Mohammedans, Christians, Hindus. All Christians were not born Christians. How were people first attracted to become Christians? There arose in their hearts the hankering for Christianity. When Achyutananda Swami, the first disciple of Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, he calls him the first disciple, when he went to my birthplace here in Bengal, a headmaster asked him, "We are so near and we cannot appreciate the teachings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. How is it that from such a far-off country you have come to sacrifice your life for the service of Sri Chaitanya Dev?" Then Achyutananda Swami answered, "Brahmanda brumite kona bhagyavan jeev." We have to acquire this capacity during the course of our wanderings in different positions throughout the creation. We are wandering from this land to that land, from this species to that species, and in the course of that, we gather some sukriti, pious credits. Agyata sukriti means that unknowingly and unconsciously our energy is spent in the service of the Lord, and the reaction comes in the form of some pious credits. And when sukriti is more developed, it becomes gyata sukriti, or pious activities knowingly performed. Then shraddha, faith, our inner attraction for the universal truth comes to the surface. In this way, it may develop from any stage. Even a beast may feel the tendency to serve Krishna. In Vrindavan, so many living beings, trees, beasts, and even the water have acquired their position by consciously desiring it. Although they have accepted an apparently material pose, they eternally hold that position in the service of Krishna. So then the Christian asks, there is one book called The Way of the Pilgrim, about a Christian who chants the name of Jesus on beads. You read that?
I've read it through J.D. Salinger. Yes.
Okay. So then Srila Sridhar Maharaj says, yes, the Catholics also use beads. Some Christians may chant the name of Christ. Then the Christian says, this man was chanting the name of Jesus in the book. His heart was growing soft and he was feeling ecstasy, great love for Jesus. Then Srila Sridhar Maharaj, well, then he may attain the position of Jesus at most. It may be that in his attempt for perfection, his growth is finished there, in the eternal paraphernalia of Jesus. He may remain there. If he has found his fullest satisfaction, he is fated to be there. By the will of God, and by the powerful will of an exalted devotee, even from the impersonal Brahman effulgence, one may be roused from his slumber and moved to action in devotional service. Generally, they pass long ages there in the non-differentiated plane, satisfied with their spiritual attainment. However, in the consideration of infinite time, nothing is very great or spacious. They may remain holding that position for a long time. So many dissolutions and creations may come and go. But the possibility remains that their slumber may be broken at any time. Since time immemorial, this created world has been in existence, and so many souls are ascending to the Brahman effulgence and again descending. So, even in the midst of the infinite Brahman effulgence, some souls are coming out. It is a question of infinity. So the position of Jesus may be considered as eternal, and the time may come when Jesus himself may be converted into Vaishnavism. It is not impossible. So then comes, I think this is the final part here. Let me just check. Near to it, but we won't have enough time right now. But I'm just going to read the beginning of this. The subtitle is Jesus, Dynamic or Static? 5 minutes. Yeah. Christian, do you think that Jesus had awareness of Krishna as the personality of Godhead? Srila Sridhar Maharaj. When his inner attainment is most closely detected, then we are bound to say that in the course of his eternal life, there is some possibility of his achieving Krishna. Christian, I don't understand. Srila Sridhar Maharaj, is Jesus stagnant or progressive? Where he has reached, is that finished forever, or is he dynamic? The Christian says, well, Christians will say that he has full knowledge. Srila Sridhar Maharaj, so is he stagnant there? Is he finally fixed? Is that Jesus' position? Do the bishops say that his position is final? Does he have a progressive life? Or is Jesus alone barred from making further progress? Is he a member of the dynamic world or the stagnant world? So this is the nature of the infinite. Being finite, we are going to deal with the infinite. That is our ludicrous tendency. It is ludicrous for us to deal with the infinite. Why is Krishna considered to be the absolute truth? This you should inquire about in a scientific way, step by step. As I have recommended, you should go on reading about that in the Krishna Samhita and the Brihad Bhagavatamrita. You should try to follow very minutely the dynamic development of theism as it is presented there. And the Christian says, as I understand it, reincarnation means that a soul may regress into a lower species by performing sinful acts. But how does it benefit a soul to be punished by taking birth in the animal species if later he has no recollection of this? This is a common question. Srila Sridhar Maharaj. Sometimes it is necessary for doctors to make a patient unconscious. Sometimes a dacoit is imprisoned and put under chains. When his movements will be detrimental to society, he is confined in a cell and chained. So sometimes it is necessary to take away one's independence, his voluntary action. By suffering the reactions to his previous karma, one may be relieved. Then again, he may be given voluntary action. When by his voluntary will a soul has done so many misdeeds and acquired so many reactions, it is necessary that his free will be stopped temporarily. He will be allowed to suffer the reactions of his previous sins, and then again, some freedom will be given to him so that he may take the proper course which is useful for him. As long as a drunkard is a drunkard, when he is expected to do some mischief to the environment, he should be confined. And when the madness of drinking is gone, then he will be released and allowed to move freely. So, because we've come to the last, actually, there's only literally like 2 minutes. Should I or not? No. Okay, tomorrow. Okay. That's my limit. I see the clock. Okay. So just as to wind up in the final minute here that I still have on the clock, Srila Sridhar Maharaj's answers are always so perfect. They're so perfect. and so clear, you know. And he's very patient with this Christian, as you can see. He's very patiently unfolding everything. But I learned so much just now. I haven't read this in quite a few years, but I learned so much. So many more things, again, were reminded to me, you know, in the whole question of comparative religion and Jesus' position in comparison with Vaishnavism and all of that, you know. So in this way, we're fortunate because we have real Sadguru who is in the line of disciplic succession from the topmost personalities, the direct disciples of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the 6 Goswamis, and all the way down. And we have actual access to the highest conceptions, right? But if we don't take our time to examine, or at least from our own level, examine like Bhagavad Gita, and then this level and this level, we won't be able to enter that. So even though it's right in front of us and it's on our bookshelf and it's, you know, it's there for us, but we will have to also go step by step. And we should not take opposite steps that will deter our progress. That's the main thing. Okay, Jai Shri Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari Radha Govinda Jiyo Ki Jai, Shri Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai, Jai Shri Gaur Arti Ki Jai, Radha Krishna Jugal Arti Ki Jai, Gaur Premanande, Vansha Kapatirubhascha Kripa Sindhu Vega Champatitam, Pavane Bhyo Vaishnavi Bhyo Namo Namah.